Ukraine launched drone attacks early this morning, striking a Russian oil refinery. According to Russian state media, work at the refinery is now partially suspended. Russia's defense minister claiming Ukraine launched 66 drones, but all were intercepted. This happened just as Ukraine is set to receive a $6 billion long-term military aid package from the U.S. This is in addition to the supplemental security package Congress passed earlier in the week with $61 billion specifically for Ukraine. We are joined now by CNN military analyst Lieutenant General Mark Hertling. General Hertling, great to see you. Ukraine has long been asking for the Patriot missiles that they're going to be getting in this latest package. How much of a difference is this going to make at this point in this war, 2+ years, where we've kind of seen this kind of stalemate in a way?
I wouldn't call it a stalemate, Jessica. I think Ukraine has been fighting pretty doggone well considering their supply lines have been interrupted. And yeah, they certainly are asking not only for the Patriot anti-air, anti-defense air defense weapon systems, because that's part of their integrated air defense. We've seen over the last several months as they have begun to run out of ammunition, that a lot of the Russian missiles have gone through, killed civilians, continued to damage infrastructure within Ukraine itself. So a resupply of all of these air defense systems, not just the Patriots, but others, is going to be critical for protecting Ukrainian lives and helping them to stop the Russian destruction of the Ukrainian infrastructure, which has been so damaging.
And just to underscore, you used the word critical there, how important this is. Do you think Ukraine would be able to win this war or have any chance at winning this war without this additional military aid package?
Without this aid package, it would be extremely difficult, Jessica. That's why so many of us have been beating the drum for Congress over the last 7 months to approve this aid package. What we've had is an interruption of the supply chain. When you have the slowing of momentum in combat, and truthfully, I've experienced that when a supply lane was interrupted, it really damages not only the capability to defend your forces, but also morale. We've seen the other night when the aid package was voted on and approved that there were even shouts among the defenders in the western part, or excuse me, the eastern part of Ukraine about knowing that they would finally get the weapon systems that they had been deprived of. With those weapon systems, over time, they can continue to stabilize their defensive belts and then eventually go on the offensive to continue to try and regain the territory that Russia took. But it's going to take a long time and a lot of effort.
Yeah, and a lot of determination from them, a lot of buy-in from those troops as well. And you just kind of laid out what it's going to take to really turn the tide. But what else do you think, what other factors are at play here as well, in addition to what you just kind of laid out more broadly?
Well, they're looking, the Ukrainians, first of all, on the weapons, the Ukrainians are looking for air defense systems, artillery systems, and long-range artillery systems to continue to strike targets deep within the Russian defensive belts. But what they're also needing, and this has been something that some of us have been watching over the last several months, Ukraine needs the mobilization of more soldiers. They have been on the battlefield for 2.5 years, and that just takes an incredible account of fatigue, psychological damage, and just the toughness of being in the trenches in the front lines will really be a morale factor. So Mr. Zelensky recently passed a new mobilization law. That will be critical. The other thing is I'm watching the Russian side. They have mobilized more forces. They have learned a lot of lessons from the first 2 years of this fight. They are coming up on good defenses and in some cases offensive operations on their own because they haven't been stopped by the Ukrainians due to the lack of weapons that they've had. So we're going to see the front stabilize a little bit over the next several weeks. And then potentially if Ukraine can not only get their new mobilized soldiers, get them trained, get them into offensive operations, and get them into the ability to retake ground, that's what I'm looking for. Because truthfully, and I know some of my artillery brethren will chide me for this, but artillery and long-range systems do not win war. You have to take on and gain the terrain. Ukraine has not been able to do that to the extensive amount they need to with some of the trains they've lost to Russia. So I think it requires more combined operations and maneuver to do that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. All right, General Mark Hertling, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Pleasure, Jessica. Thank you.
We'll be right back.